Hey guys, it's Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a cool little dice placement game from the Grand Gamers Guild called the Artemis Project. The Artemis Project is a 2 to 4 player game where players are working to create bases and buildings for their workers and colonists on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. And you're trying to do that over a series of rounds. The first 3 rounds you're going to be building below the surface buildings. The final 3 rounds you're going to be building above the surface buildings. They're also going to give you in-game points. It's a really slick, neat little game. Let's go down to the table, see how it plays. Alright, here is a game of the Artemis Project set up for a 3-player game. I'll go over the setup really quickly and then we'll go into a round. This isn't a how to play video. There may be some rules that I miss or explain incorrectly. This is just to kind of give you a gist of how the game plays to see if it's something that you would be interested in. So to set it up, each player is going to get a player board. They're going to get 5 dice of their color. They're going to get 3 minerals, which look like these. They're going to get 3 energy, which are these guys. They're going to get a pioneer, and that's it. We're going to randomly pick a start player, which this is the phase tracker. We'll give that to the start player just to help. So yellow has decided to be first. All right, so that's setting up for the players. Now setting up the board, we're going to start over here with the hangers, right here. And we're going to put out 2 exhibition cards, which is the number of players minus 1. So that's why we have 2. Each of the expedition cards are going to get certain amounts of things for bonuses if you go there. So you can look at this one. If you see this, there's 4 energy cubes and 4 mineral cubes. And it takes a total of 9 to complete this exhibition, or expedition. I say that wrong all the time. And we'll talk about that when we go through the playthrough a little bit. You don't have to put the cubes on there, but I just think it looks kind of cool. So I roll like that. This one gets 4 tools and 4 minerals. You're going to get the expedition trophies right here. Expedition badges. You're going to get those when you successfully complete an expedition. Okay, then we're going to go over here. You're going to roll these dice. It's 1 die per number of players. That's going to determine how many energy are put into the vents and how many minerals are put into the quarry. So I already did that. I rolled it. I can't remember the numbers that I rolled. I think 12 and like 15 or something like that. Over here, this is the gantry. This is where you're going to buy buildings. When you're setting up the game initially, it's number of players plus 1. Then at the end of every round, it's just number of players. So I'll show you what a building looks like really quickly, and we can talk about that. So right here, this is what a building looks like. It's going to give you the name. It's going to say it needs to have 2 of any kind of worker in there, or colonist, I guess. And then if you can get 2 of the engineer, which is indicated by the little blue, you're going to get a bonus. We'll go over that a little bit once we get playing, but that's how the buildings work. Next is the doorstep. Doorstep is where you're going to go to hire more colonists. There are 4 different kinds of colonists. There are pioneers, which are brown, which are the cubes that everybody starts with 1. There are stewards, which are purple. It kind of looks like brown. That's my only issue. There are red, which are marines. They kind of mess with other players' dice when they're going on expeditions. And then there are engineers, which are the blue, which are my favorite, and they're going to give you extra resources when you take them out to an expedition. Then over here, this is the academy. This is where you're going to go with a die. So say I take a die here, and I can take a pioneer over here. I'm going to train that pioneer to be one of the other 3 types of workers. The pioneer is going to stay at the academy, and then I'm just going to take a new worker back with me and put it either in a building that I get or the shelters. So that's how that works. In a 2-player game, you can only use 1 of the spots, and in a 3 or 4-player game, you can use both. The last place is the exclamation mark, and that is the outfitters. So this is the only spot that you're going to resolve when you go there. So based on the pips on the die, you can go there and you can get tools. Tools are right here. Again, this is a prototype copy. There's some errors on the board, and I'm not sure if these tokens are the same, but this is what tools look like. They're going to let you add or subtract a pip from your die for each tool that you use. So That's really helpful when you need to have a 5 and you have a 6, or you need to have a 6 and you have a 5. Yeah, it's very good. You can't roll a 6 to a 1, and you can't roll a 1 to a 6, but you can do normal flips with that. And that's all the spots. So the game's going to take place over 3 phases. The first phase is placing dice out. Second phase is pulling dice off based on number order around the board. And the third phase is cleaning up. So let's go ahead and get started, and we'll discuss the event card, which I didn't go into. We'll discuss that when we get to the little pink marker, because that's when the event happens. Every round there's going to be a new event. There's 6 events here. So we know when we go through this pile, we're done with the game. All right, so let's get started. Each player is going to roll their dice. We'll just say, I rolled these dice. I don't want to bang around and make a bunch of noise. On the player's turn, they're going to take a die, put it on the board, or manipulate it if they want to. And then when everybody's got their dice placed, we'll move on to phase 2, which is pulling the dice back. All right, so let's see here. This player really wants to, the other player really wants to go down here and start working on an expedition. So they're going to take their 5 die. The way the expeditions work is you go next to it, and you have to get the total number right here across all dice, one player or multiple players, to make this succeed. When you succeed, you get one of these. Whoever has the most of these at the end of the game gets some points. Whoever has the fewest loses some points, so it's good to do these. And then whoever has the most pips on their dice is going to get first dibs at one of these rewards. If there's only one player here, they get both. So, and if there's a tie, whoever's closest to the bottom because they went there first gets first dibs. So this player's going here. You can also send pioneers. You can send colonists over here to do different things. So a brown, a pioneer, it can go here and it'll add a pip to your die. So this would effectively be a 6. It costs 1 energy if you're pulling from your shelters, which is the starting space on your board. But you can put as many brown guys as you want. So if I had 4 brown guys, I could put all 4 of them there if I wanted to. Or you can send one of any other worker, 1 only, for 1 energy. Blue, if I send blue over here, if this is successful, I'm going to get 2 of any resources, which is either energy or minerals. If I send a red, it's going to manipulate an opponent's die. So say they're in the lead and I really want to lead and I only had a 3 and they had a 4. I could use this and it'll decrease it by 2, but it cannot go below 1. Purple, when you send purple, if you place a 1 or 2 die there and the expedition succeeds, you get a point. Points are really hard to come by. We played a whole game and we ended up with like 28 points. And blue, I think I went over blue before. If you put that there, yeah, 2 resources. So that's how that works. This player decides they're not going to put anything else there, so they're just going to leave it at that. Then it'll be red player's turn. They want to gather, they want to go fight some buildings. So I can talk about how the buildings work as well. So they would like this one. All right, so the way bidding works, it's kind of like an auction. So over there, that's saying whoever has the highest pips on that building has to pay 3 minerals, that many minerals, to get that building. So at this point, I'm saying I'm going to pay 3 minerals for that. The tricky part is you can go over there without having any minerals. You just need to make sure you have them by the time that phase 4 comes around to purchase it, or you can't buy it. So you don't have to have it when you go there. You just need to have it by the time that goes into effect. A player can outbid themselves if they want to. I don't know why they would, but they can. Or another player can go there and outbid them, and I may make that happen just so we can see what happens. So that's that. So green player is going to, then we get some workers. So they'll go up here with a 1. And I'll explain a little bit about that when we put another worker up there. Yellow's player's turn again. They want to go ahead and complete this mission because they really want this stuff. So they're going to go over here with a 4. So they have 9 pips. They have 9. So that's a successful mission at this point. Red really would like, they want some people too. So they're going to go up here. No, they don't want people yet. They're actually going to train their worker. No, they don't want to do that either because they don't have the right amount of dice. So they'll go get a building as well. So let's go. They kind of want this building. And I'll explain the perks of some of these when that goes up. Oh, I'm already getting a building. Never mind, they don't want to get 2 buildings. So they'll go down here and they'll get in the mine, the quarry. All right, next is green. So green player, what are they doing? They're getting a person. They actually want to get some energy, so they're going to go here with a 3. There's a mechanism to this that I'll explain when I put some more dice there, which I'll do right now. So this player is going to go there. They would like some energy as well, so they're going to go there with a 3. All right, so the way this works is lower numbers always go to the left. If you place the same number as a die that's already there, it goes to the right. So say this was a 2. If this die was a 2, it would go to the left of this and slide this one down. Lowest numbers get first dibs. So it could be possible that you get pushed out of not getting any of the rewards. But if you put the same number or higher, if you put the same number, it goes to the right of the number already there. If it's higher, it fits in where it needs to go. So red player, they want to get some minerals because they're going to have to buy some stuff. Oh, they're already doing that. So they'd like to do an expedition as well. So they're going to come up here with a 6. Green player, they want to get in on the building game too. So they're going to come over here for a 4. Yellow player, what are they doing? They're expeditioning. They're getting some energy. They're going to take get some minerals. So it's higher than the 3, so it goes to the right. Red player, they're going to go ahead and complete this mission, this expedition, because they want to get in on that game as well. Green player, let's see. They're going to get some tools. So they're going to come here. A 5 or a 6 gets you 2 tools. They get those tools right now. That's the only thing you don't have to wait for. So now they have some options to manipulate their dice. Yellow, they're getting energy, minerals, expedition. They're going to take a building too, maybe. No, I don't think they want to do that. Yeah, they're going to go get a building as well. All right, red player. They would like to get some tools as well because tools are important. So they put a 5, so they get 2 tools. There are more tools than this. I just put these out here for the sake of this round. And green player, they want to get some minerals, so they're going to go there. All right, so all the dice have been placed. Now we're going to go from phase A all the way around. When we hit G, that's where this event happens. Then we'll handle the event. All right, so let's see. So starting with A, there's no event, so we'll go to 1. That's expeditions. So we need to compare pips to the number on the card. So this one's successful, so yellow gets a successful expedition badge right there. Goes over there on the board. So they're the only persons here, so they get all of these goods. You can see on the player board there's these little side areas for the goods. These are basically saying that you can store goods. So this player can take 1 energy and turn it, or take 5 energy and store it. And that's going to be worth points at the end of the game to a maximum of 3. They'll also do it with this, so they'll store that. So now they have a stored energy. They can still spend it. They should spend it because you can only get 3 points out of it max. Okay, so these gotta get their dice back. Red, only person here. They hit 10. This is 10. So they get a badge, which red is, I think, right here, I believe. So take red back. And then they get all these goods. So they get all these tools. There's points at the end of the game for whoever has the most tools. And they're also going to take these. They'll cash them in for have 5, so they'll store some. Okay, now we're moving on to phase 2, which is to the vents where we're going to get some energy. We start with green. They get 3. Boom, they're going to cash it in because it's just good to have that like that. Then we're going to go to yellow. They're going to get 3. They're going to cash 4 of them in to store some more energy. So now they have another stored energy. Then we'll go over here to the quarry. Red's going to get 3. Ooh, this could be tricky for green. We'll see. So red gets 3. Yellow gets 5. I'm not going to cash them in because you got to get the point of that. So yellow gets their die back. And green has a 6. There aren't 6, so they get 3 only. So that's how that works. So if there would have been another die there, they wouldn't have gotten anything. And that would have done something on the relief track, which I'll explain because it's not going to happen this round. All right, next thing we're going to go to 4, which is the gantry. And we're going to pay for buildings. So we'll start with yellow. Yellow has to pay 5 minerals. They get this building. It'll go beside their board, which I'll put it there. There's not a ton of room, but I'll put it right there. This is for the underwater buildings, which is what we have through 1, 2, and 3, rounds 1 through 3. And the top is for the above ground buildings, and they come out at 4, 5, and 6. These are points and give you things throughout the game. The other buildings give you in-game points. So when they come out, they're just basically points at the end. All right, then we'll pay green. We'll have to pay 4, so they pay their 4. They get their building. All right, so let's look at this building. The way this building works is it can store 3 workers, 2 pioneers, and 1 of anything. So any person that's in the shelters, you have to pay an energy to keep them warm. If they're in these buildings, you don't have to keep them warm by paying an energy, and you don't have to pay an energy to send them out on an expedition. So these buildings are far superior to the shelters. And then red is going to take this one. They're going to pay 3. This is the same as that one. If you can get 2 engineers in there, you're going to generate 3 energy. If you can get 2 of anything else, then you'll generate 1 energy. All right, so that is the gantry. Going over to the doorstep. The only person at the doorstep is green. Here, there's a key. If you place a 1 or a 2, you can hire 1 new colonist, and it costs 2 energy for each one. So green is going to pay 2 energy, so that's 5. They get 3 back. And they're going to take a blue worker. It goes in their shelters. Oh, I can put it in a building too, so they'll actually just put it in this building right here. And then they get their die back. 6, nobody's doing the academy. But now we're hitting the event, because we're on to letter G. So the event is a volcanic sea quake. Each player must pay 2 minerals for every building they own, which is not fully staffed. Ooh, the players may not have thought this through here. So let's see. Red does not have a fully staffed building, so they have to pay 2 minerals. Green does not have a fully staffed building, sucks up all the rest of their minerals. Yellow does not have a fully staffed building, so that takes 2 of their minerals. Yikes. All right, and then these are already done, so we take these dice back. And that's that. All right, so now we're going to move to the end of the round. On the board, there are some actions that you can do at the end of the round. Each player can perform 1 colonist move swap, which means you can move a colonist from a building to a building or from the shelters to a building. So this player is going to move it down here because that's always better than the shelters. This player is going to do the same. And this player is also going to do the same. All right. You have to activate any fully staffed buildings. Nobody has any fully staffed buildings yet. That means you have cubes in all the appropriate cube spaces. Pay 1 energy per colonist in your shelters. Nobody has a colonist in their shelters, so we're good. Refresh the game board. All right, so base camp, clear all expeditions and add 1 expedition per player. -1. All right, so these go away. We do 2 more. All right, so you can see this one. I'll show you these. This one's also going to come with a building. So you'll flip a building and it comes over here. So let me flip a building. So flip it. So we have that building. This one gets 2 points and 2 random dudes out of the bag. So we'll draw 2 random dudes. Colonists, not dudes. So we have 2 pioneers. All right. Then we will, the vents, we'll remove all the energy that's currently there, and then we'll re-roll for the vents. So let's see. So we get 2, 4, 6. You can never have less than 2 times the number of players. So in this case, this is the bare minimum that we can get at the vents. That's not good. Then we'll go to the quarry, do the same thing. We have 11, 14 at the quarry. So let's put 14 down there. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. All right. Then we will refill the gantry, add 1 building per player, maximum of 8. So we'd add 3 more from the underwater stack because that's what we're playing with because it's round 2. All right. You can have a maximum of 8 buildings out there, which we probably won't ever hit that, but we could. Next, we will do the doorstep. We'll add 1 per player plus 2. So we're going to add 5 more people to a maximum of 12. So let's see what we get here. We got 3 pioneers, 2 more. An engineer and a steward. All right. Then we will get a new event card. So we got this event. It's going to take place when we get to B. So we'll move the little pink token to B. And then we will decide who has the least amount of resources, and they get to pick who's first player. So this player has 8, this player has 4, that player has 15. So 4 gets to pick first. They want to go last, so they're going to make yellow go first again. And then we're going to do it all over again. We're going to do this over the course of 6 rounds. And then whoever has the most points is the winner. There's one track I didn't talk about, which is this, the exposure track. Say this player placed a 1, and then this player came in and outbid them with a 4. Because they didn't get anything, this die is exposed. So this is the relief track. So because they didn't get anything, they get to move up on the track, and they get to collect the reward that's under it. So in this case, they would get 2 tools. If you make it all the way to the end, every other time you get bumped out and your die is exposed, you get to pick any of these rewards that you want. So it's just a kind of a catch-up mechanism a little bit. So if you don't get something, you still get something. And that's it. It's a pretty straightforward game. Nice worker placement. Everything's laid out on your board. And at the end of the game, everything you get points for is right here. So let's go over that real quick. You're going to get 1 point up to a maximum of 3 for all of, if you have stored energy. So if you have 6 stored, you're only going to get 3. You should spend your resources if you have them. Fully staffed water or ocean or surface buildings, which is like this. So if I can get 1 of each type of good at the end of the game, I get 4 points. You're going to get points for however many buildings you have. So once you get 3 buildings, you get 1 point. So on and so forth, up to a maximum of 8. For each set of colonists you have, brown, blue, red, and purple, you get 3 points. Every leftover colonist that doesn't meet the set gives you a point. Whoever has the most of these, the expedition badges, give you 2 points. Whoever has the least, so right now it would be green, they would lose a point. And whoever has the most tools, which in this case red has a pile, gets a bonus 2 points. And then you'll add that to your total score track in the middle, and whoever has the most points is the winner. That is the Artemis Project. Let's go up to the top and see what we think about it. All right, so that was the Artemis Project. This game is a nice entry into the dice placement game family. You're taking a total of 30 actions over your turn because you have 5 dice over 6 rounds. And I like that when you place, you can place wherever you want, but when you remove and take the actions, you do them in number order. And I also like how the events are in certain spots on the board. So if it affects like the vents of the quarry, the event will happen there. Or if it affects the doorstep, or it affects the expeditions, it'll be on that side of the board. So you really have to kind of plan for that when you're making, your plans for the turn and determine what's going to hurt you and what you can do to fix it. So I like that. I like that it seems like it's a heavy game, but it's really like a medium weight game. There's nothing complicated about it. It's strictly, hey, you go to this spot, this is what it does. This is what this building does. It's really straightforward, but it gives you lots of decisions and different paths you can take throughout the game. Another thing that we didn't discuss in the playthrough, but the relief track is really neat too. So sometimes you get outbid on the buildings, or you may go to the vents of the quarry and not get anything. Well, in that case, you get to go to the relief track, and you get to get a new good. So the farther up you go, the more stuff you get. When you get to the end, you get to pick what you want. So it's a nice little catch-up mechanic, which a lot of these types of games don't have really. So it's nice that this one has it, so you're not like out. Sometimes you can just keep getting boned by what other players are doing, and it just can knock you out. And yeah, that's all I got to say about this. The only complaint I have is I have a prototype version. I don't know if this is what the final version is going to be like, but in the prototype version, the stewards are purple and the pioneers are brown. And it makes it really hard to see when you have certain lighting. Like it's just hard to see which one's purple and which one's brown. So maybe one of those will be a different color in the future. Not a game breaker by any means, just something to think about if you have hard times telling some colors. Like I'm a little color weak, so those were a little difficult for me, but game's still amazing. That's just a minor point. So yeah, that is the Artemis Project. This is going to be BGM accepted. This is just a preview, and we don't normally do that, but I really like this game, and I'm going to keep it in my collection and hopefully bust it out a little more. If you enjoyed this video, check out our YouTube channel. We have lots of other videos from me, Joel, Kim has some, I have some with Katie. Katie and Kim have some. Just go check it out. We have like over 100 videos that you can go watch if you're bored or just want to kill some time. And if you want to hear some audio podcasts, we also have that as well. You can go to bgmechanics.com and check that out. We have 33 or 4 episodes, I believe, and a few episodes that are just interviews, so you can go check that out. And if you like us, feel free to subscribe, like to all of our channels, and keep gaming.